What is up, good people? Jungle Link here. Hope you're doing well. I want to talk a little bit about a post that Crypto Eddie put up about Ripple exiting their investment in Tranglo. We'll discuss before we do. Saturday I had a bunch of videos planned out, and I had an abnormal amount of free time where I could, sit down and just really knock them out. And as I was sitting down to record, I got a phone call. Someone said President Trump was just shot. At that time, we didn't know the outcome or what had happened. I didn't feel like talking, no less making videos about cryptocurrencies. I don't have any novel or interesting takes on the situation. I thank God that President Trump is safe. One, fraction of an inch one way or the other. And today is a wildly different world than the one we find ourselves in. And of course, for the individual that lost their life just trying to take his family to a political event and listen to a speech, this hero that in the moment he was called upon, shielded his family from danger, just feel so bad for them. Prayers go out to them. But the best we can do in life is to hope to be able to rise to that occasion and in that most important moment, be heroic and do what needs to be done. And he did that for sure. I don't want to go on a tirade here. It just affected me quite a bit, and I didn't want to, just act like nothing happened. Anyway, we'll circle back in a few days. I have some good AI analysis, some information that I want to share with you. I think you'll like it. We'll get to that stuff. But I did want to touch briefly on this post where Crypto Eddie had shared from Crunchbase, Ripple's profile, where it shows they exited 3 of their investments. MoneyGram, which we know to be true. Bitstamp, which makes a lot of sense because Bitstamp was acquired by Robinhood. And lastly listed on there was Tranglo, which was a surprise to everyone. And I have to be clear, I can't find any information out there that Ripple sold their 40% interest in Tranglo. It may be very well an error. Some people pulled up, Crunchbase's terms where it shows, what are exits. And typically it is when a company goes public. And so people are like, well, it's clearly an error because Tranglo didn't go public. I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think it's either IPOs or an exit or acquisition. So someone comes in and buys the company, buys the entity. And that also could be possible. So, this Tranglo stuff, maybe Ripple sold their 40% interest. Maybe they didn't. And of course, I tweeted that as the fudster I am, and made a big deal out of it. But I'll tell you this, whether they sold off Tranglo or they didn't, my point was this. On-demand liquidity today is no raging success. It's not, setting the world on fire. No companies you've ever heard of or ever wanted to hear of are using on-demand liquidity. I believe Ripple's doing important work with that. I think the future of payments are digital, but we're not there. And so I reiterate this point. Again, if they didn't sell Tranglo, they did sell Tranglo. My point is the same. Ripple needs a win. One that starts, bringing in cash flow, that shows they can execute. They have to have some sort of business that has success because on-demand liquidity probably takes a long time to hit any sort of adoption. I believe taking that liquidity, on-chain, using AMM pools, sourcing liquidity, again, from the XRP Ledger direct and not as much from exchanges, I think will help a lot, bring down costs, raise efficiency, all of that. And I think, adding a stablecoin in the mix will also help. But even with that, we're going to take a long time. We need to show the XRP Ledger can be used and sourced for a practical purpose today. Ripple's the biggest builder, and they got to show success. And I think one of the best ways to do that is going to be with this stablecoin launch. They got to get that stablecoin listed on major exchanges so it's liquid, people can use it. And I think they will. They have a huge advantage here. We have a blockchain everyone trusts. Say what you want about the XRP Ledger. It's trustworthy. Everyone knows you're not going to get rug pulled. The ledger isn't going to break down. So you can trust your assets on there. It's fast, efficient. It's going to be one of the best experiences that we have on blockchain today. Tron sources a lot of its value from this reason. People use digital dollars and different stable coins on that blockchain because it's fast, efficient. XRP can match Tron in a lot of ways, and I think you could see some siphoning off of some of that activity, some of that value on chain. It's a big deal. Because if I have two, options here, that both have fast and cheap payments, the XRP Ledger or Tron. With all things being equal, I'm sorry, I'm going XRP Ledger. I just am. Now, there's some infrastructure that's got to be built up there. People got to be onboarded. But with all things being equal, the XRP Ledger wins there. And plus, the issuer of that asset, of that, stablecoin is Ripple. We trust that they're going to, hold your dollars, safeguard them. They're going to operate in a compliant manner. Like, this is a huge win. If they can't execute this, it's a big problem. It's a bad sign. Now, I'm not saying you're going to overnight overtake Tether. You're going to overtake USDC. I'm not saying you have to. Those coins are already being used in a lot of DeFi systems and liquidity pools on Ethereum and other smart contract blockchains. Of course, Ripple is issuing on Ethereum as well, so it should be a player there. You don't have to be number one or even number two, but we have to see some growth, some usage, some adoption. If you don't, it's a really bad sign. It's a bad sign that this company can't execute. I'm making XRP videos. I'm making Ripple videos. I think they're going to knock this thing out the park. But I'm just telling you, keep a close eye on what they do here. If you end up 2 years down the road and there's something on Crunchbase that they've sold off their stablecoin business, that it's a failure, this is, big 3-alarm fire. This is a big issue. They have to make this work. It is so important. I can't stress enough how much they need a win here. That doesn't mean that ultimately on-demand liquidity won't be many times bigger and using XRP to send payments and all this stuff. It's kind of like when you look at Tesla. They had to, hit the Roadster first and show, we can sell a car and bring in cash flows. And then they went to the Model S. And then guess what? The Model 3 and Model Y really made that one of the most valuable companies in the world. The Model 3 and Model Y, yes, that was kind of an end goal. That was their big, product there that moved a lot of sales. But you have to have those early successes, and Ripple is in desperate need of that because to date, their major success is selling XRP, and that ain't a sustainable business. That's a finite resource. They've done so many things that have just, fell flat on its face. This has to be a win. It has to be good. And the only reason it would not be is if their head's not really in the game, they don't have the capability to launch a successful product or service, and they don't really care to. They're just trying to drum up hype. I don't believe that to be the case, but this is the telling moment for this company. Because if they can't launch a stablecoin and scale it, they darn sure ain't gonna build the financial system of the future with on-demand liquidity. That's a whole different level. It's a bigger commitment, and it takes a lot of planning and adjustments in real time. And it's just more complicated. Let's get the simple stuff done. Let's have some success. And I think that will be a great indicator of where they will take this technology in the future. Do I think that Ripple spun off Tranglo? It's very possible. Still listed on their sites. That doesn't mean a whole lot. I haven't found any official announcements, but it is a private company. Who knows? But what I do believe at my core is that on-demand liquidity is not a great success today. That leveraging exchanges. That was not the original idea. It's where they had to take it. It's too expensive. You have too many currency swaps. People are taking fees out left and right, and it just doesn't scale, and they got to redesign this thing. That's going to take some time. In the meantime, show me you can take a proven concept that you have a large strategic advantage in and launch this stablecoin with success, because it's going to take very minimal commitment. People are going to use it. They're going to love it. And in turn, they'll understand some of the attributes that makes the XRP ledger so great, so novel. Yes, there are advanced blockchains today that have more features like smart contracts. There's blockchains that have more TPS. But when you add it all together, the speed, the cost, and the finality of your payments, it's still world-class for sending and settling value in transactions. My final answer is I don't really care if they sold Tranglo. Make this stablecoin thing work. And it's going to bleed into, those AMM pools will have more activity because you really need a stablecoin, one that people have, easy liquidity on. It's going to make everything on the XRP ledger flow better. We can have usable and scalable DeFi, and it's going to be a whole different world post that stablecoin launch. And I also believe it's going to pull on your Tethers and your USDCs on chain as well, because they're not going to want Ripple to have the fastest and cheapest stablecoin with the most liquidity. They're going to want to contend on this chain as well. Right now, they're fine to sit back and press their advantage on other chains. You're going to force all of these assets to come ripping onto the XRP ledger. The more interesting, the more valuable assets you have, the better. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.